What's going on? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. Y'all know we do more than boxing. And we talking about the top 5 quarterbacks that shouldn't be starting in the NFL, that shouldn't be in the starting position. And number 5, and we go in order from best to worst. Number 1 to be the worst. Number 5, Joe Flacco. I used to be a Joe Flacco supporter, but his play has diminished. But to be fair, the players around him have diminished over the years. A lot of Hall of Famers or fringe Hall of Famers like Anquan Bolden, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and other players have diminished around him. They are in a rebuild mode, and obviously they couldn't figure to find him a formidable running back, and most years formidable receivers. So that just shows you're only good as your supporting cast, and Joe Flacco isn't in that Tom Brady frame where he can make, or Aaron Rodgers bracket where he can make receivers better. But I just think, the shit's over for him in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? He got his money. He won a Super Bowl. He did what he did. And I think at some point this season you probably see Lamar Jackson, starting. I think it's a whole new era in Baltimore. I think it's passed him by. And he might, want to consider retiring. I think he'll battle for a starting quarterback position. But I think ultimately he'll be a backup, or, he's going to be out the league. But like I said, he got arm talent, just like, it wasn't that he was the greatest coming, from Delaware. It's just that he had a great supporting cast, and that fell off, and they failed to put a supporting cast around him. His performance failed. Number 4, Eli Manning. No disrespect to Eli Manning, but, for years he's been getting away with being a sorry quarterback for the New York Giants, throwing interceptions, and if they made it to the playoffs, then turning it on, winning Super Bowls, or going deep in the playoffs. His playoff Eli is better than regular season Eli. And if Eli Manning had any other last name than Manning, I believe he probably wouldn't even got to the point to get a Super Bowl in a New York Giants uniform. But they kept Eli in there because who his dad and his brother was, Archie and Peyton Manning. And at one point last year, they broke his Iron Man streak and benched him. And he cried about it. But, he's been a guy that should have been out of a starting quarterback position a long time ago, in my opinion. He should have been out of there. He had lackluster after lackluster seasons, and he had pretty much good supporting cast around him most years. Now, of recent, he hasn't had the offensive line, but again, it's another one of them quarterbacks that get a long leash and get a pass for his last name, but he's only as good as his supporting cast. When he won the Super Bowl, he had 2 great defenses. You know what I'm saying? He had some formidable offensive weapons as well, too. And when all them weapons diminish around him and the defense not playing well and everything not going right, you're not going to win with Eli Manning. At this point in his career, I don't believe he's a starting caliber quarterback that's going to be part of a winning team. He might change his luck this year, with some of his weapons back in Odell, Ingram, and Saquon Barkley. And it's a lot of things the New York Giants haven't given him, but guess what? It's a lot of the quarterbacks that got a lot less that's produced and been more consistent. Eli Manning, he's number 4. Number 3, the ginger, Andy Dalton. I like Andy Dalton coming out of TCU, but at the end of the day, he's wore out his welcome just as much as his head coach Marvin Lewis wore out his welcome with the Cincinnati Bengals as the head coach. He's had time and time again. He had one of the best receiving corps at one point with Mohamed Sanu, Marvin Jones Jr., both who are beasts for Detroit and Atlanta Falcons. AJ Green. He had running backs galore with Giovanni Bernard. The other one, Hill, and Joe Mixon. He had solid offensive line. Now his offensive line is pretty poor. They had really, really good defenses, but he's been the one lonely soul factor that the Cincinnati Bengals have sucked. It's been because of him. He hasn't produced in the big games, and they haven't won a playoff game in a very long time, despite having several playoff runs. He just doesn't get it done. He has one of the best receivers in the league. Arguably could be the best receiver with a better quarterback at A.J. Green. And he has some of the greatest weapons. Tyler Eifert, Jermaine Gresham. He had a good offensive line at one point. He just wasn't able to produce. And when everything was right around him to produce, he still didn't produce. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a fact. He's one of them dudes that got a long leash. They got a contract, and he shouldn't have got it. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't have got the contract. And he comes in as our number 3 quarterback that shouldn't be starting in the NFL right now. And like I said, I got much love for Andy Dalton, man. Liked him as a player coming out of TCU. Believed in him in several playoff games. But the year they lost to the Chargers was the year I was done with them. And I picked the Chargers to beat them because it was a bad matchup. But he wore out his welcome. Let's look at the next 2 who succeeds him, and it's Ryan Tannehill. He's coming off an injury, and I expect him to be nothing less than hot garbage as he usually is. He's a guy that shouldn't have got a contract extension. He's a guy that hasn't produced. He's a guy that been on the bench before because he got frustrated and was getting dog walked, and they wanted to protect his confidence. And he was a receiver at Texas A&M, and then they put him at quarterback as well. I think he had already played quarterback, but he's playing receiver. He's just not that good. He's one of these dudes that got a contract, that got a long rope. He just simply hasn't produced. Period. I'm not saying Miami had the greatest team around them, but this year they got weapons that he coming back. The Devontae kid from Louisville that played with Teddy Bridgewater. They got Kenny Stills that can go deep. You know what I'm saying? They had Jarvis Landry, got rid of him. You know, they got the kid from Michigan State playing tight end, I believe, still. They got Kenyon Drake, who had a good year running the ball. They had an amazing defense last year. He missed out on that. But he's another one of these dudes that can have everything right around. You got to have everything perfect around him for him to be successful. And he hasn't had a perfect situation around him, but everything got to be perfect for him to be successful. And still, he might not still get you to the mountaintop. He one of them lame duck quarterbacks that just begin to give an extended leash for whatever reason it is, but he ain't that good. And the world sees that Ryan Tannehill isn't that good. And only people that don't see it is Stephen Ross and, the Miami Dolphins coaching staff. I don't know why they keeping him. And they paid him all that money. And I think a lot of teams be scared to take a chance to go find a new quarterback. So they ride off with the sorry quarterback like Ryan Hill that they got. And number one is none other than, drumroll please, Blaine Gabbert. Total trash, hot garbage. You had Jalen Ramsey going around here, the Jacksonville cornerback, saying who's sorry, what quarterback suck, who good. And this is quarterback. They're my quarterback. This sorry, lame excuse for a quarterback. A guy that if he didn't have a complexion for the selection would have been out the league or been a backup. You know what I'm saying? He has zero talent. He had a lot of hype coming out of UCF, University of Central Florida. And nobody's seen what people seen in him. And we still don't see what the Jacksonville Jaguars seen in him to get him a contract extension. Yes, he played well through the playoffs, but he was game managing. If they would have went out there and at least got an Alex Smith, at least got an Eli Manning, even though he was on this list, they would have been all right. But they want to continue to run the ball and play defense and let him manage the game. You need somebody that can throw that thing. He can't throw that thing. He ain't consistent. He's been given a contract extension for no reason. It's no reason why this dude should be in the NFL throwing the football. He should be a backup or a third stringer. He sucks. He's garbage. And if he improved this year, I will apologize, but I don't foresee him improving. But it's the Boston Clinic of more top 5 quarterbacks that should be starting in the NFL. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the page. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also, if you want to donate, the PayPal link is there as well. If you want to donate, also shout out to the Super Chats when we go live. Shout out to everybody that's joining the movement. Y'all know what it is. One time for the one time. We gone.